Yes, the Kings. Cup of Joe with Jay. And I would like to say, welcome YouTube to all my folks, my friends, and you Kings fans out there. It's your guy, Jay Woods, aka Shy the Man, and I'm back at you with another episode of the King's Cup of Joe with Jay.
I love it.
And today is April 28th, 2025, and the day is Monday.
Baby, I'ma be a motivation.
Yes, and if you've been here before, you know that I call Mondays Motivated Monday.
Yeah.
Go, 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 go. Motivation.
So let's get motivated for this week. Let's make sure we have our goals aligned and we're working every day towards those goals, because it is beginning of the work week, Monday.
Go, go, go.
Girl, I turn that thing into a rainforest.
Yeah. And my cup of Joe for today. I have a few things to talk about today. Hopefully you're here for the whole video. I'd appreciate if you went ahead and clicked that like and that subscribe button down there below. If you're into Kings Talk, Kings News, Kings Updates, we're going to be giving them to you all summer long. So go ahead and click that subscribe button, because you're going to want to come back and hear all of my great analysis. I guarantee that. And as you may already know, on April 23rd, 2025, the Sacramento Kings officially introduced Scott Perry as their new general manager, marking his return to the organization. Perry was previously with the Kings as an executive vice president of basketball operations in 2017, before becoming the GM for the New York Knicks. And this announcement followed the Kings' separation from Monty McNair, the previous GM of the past several years. And so my take on Scott Perry is, you know, he seems like definitely a well-rounded GM. He's definitely been around the league for a while. People know who he is. He's a known commodity around the league. Different people have given him compliments on his job in the league as of this far, and he was instrumental in helping the Knicks bring some talent onto their team. So he is known to be a good GM, a quality GM, and you know it's yet to be seen what he does for this Kings team. You know, we all know that the Kings have not made it to the playoffs very often in the past 19 years. Let's just say only one time in the past 19 years, which is a very depressing stat in my opinion. And when you hear that, it's just like, man, how can I be a Kings fan for so long, for so many years, with all this inept and this just poor judgments, bad draft picks, horrible free agent moves, signings. It's just all of this disarray, and just a team that just never really seemed to be able to get it together, or to hire anybody that actually knows what they're doing to get some good talent into this team. I remember screaming forever that we need length and athleticism at the wings. I mean, that's always been a problem for the Kings, and we haven't had a GM to address that yet. Well, Scott Perry has brought up that he feels like this team needs a point guard, and that they need to get longer and more athletic on the wings, which is stuff he said out of his own mouth. So in my opinion, that means he's already going in the right direction, and he already can see what this team needs. And we need to stack talent. I mean, we've never been able to stack talent. We've never had a great starting roster with a great bench. That's never really happened, except for when we made our run when we were battling the Lakers back in 2002 and 2003, when they had the bench mob and they had a good starting lineup. So those are the things I think the Kings need. So Scott Perry said the same thing. So he's right along with what I feel like the Kings need. In my opinion, I feel like he'll be able to get some things done, and he's already in the right direction. So let's go, Scott Perry. Let's go. And it just recently came out also that he is not interested in tearing down this whole team. He wants to rebuild from what we have, take what we have and make it better. So I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily want to rebuild. I don't want to blow this team up. Blowing this team up would mean starting over for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And I don't want to do that. We've already been waiting this long. We have good enough talent that made the play-in. Now let's just add to this team, add some talent to this team. Scott Perry, add talent to this team and get us to be a better team than just a play-in team. Maybe we can get to where we're in 6th, 5th place to where we don't have to be in a play-in game. We're automatically in the playoffs because of our play throughout the season. So those are my takes on Scott Perry. I don't know a ton about him except that he had a good rank. He had a good showing in New York. And, you know, I just hope that he's willing to come out here, roll up his sleeves, get his hands dirty, dig in, search the league for players and talk to different organizations and talk to different people, since you already know all these people, and get some stuff done, get some signings done, get some free agents here, make some good draft picks. And that's all I really ask of Scott Perry. So that's my take on Scott Perry. Doug Christie. Is Doug Christie going to be the head coach of the Sacramento Kings for the 2025-26 season? You guys that watched my show and are subscribed to this channel already know how I feel about Doug Christie. Doug Christie is one of our guys. He's one of the Kings guys. I mean, he was on one of those high-level teams where we should have went to the championship game probably, and probably would have won if we made it. Those battles with LA, you know, we used to love watching Doug Christie play defense and fight for this team back in the day. He's been a broadcaster out here in Sacramento, so he made a name for himself broadcasting. Excellent broadcaster, excellent basketball analysis, excellent basketball mind. And when he talked, you could already tell he had that coach in him. He had that coach vibe in him, and he has knowledge of the game. He has, he knows defensive strategies. He knows offensive strategies. You can hear it when he talks. So, in my opinion, Doug is probably, you know, a good up-and-coming coach, and he's one of Sacramento's guys. He spent a lot of time being the assistant coach for Sacramento, for the Kings for a while, under a couple coaches now, under Mike Brown, and under, and yeah, just as I thought, Doug Christie was hired as the assistant coach with the Sacramento Kings in 2021 under head coach Luke Walton, and he also served under Mike Brown. So he's been assistant coach since 2021, which was like 4 years. And then this year he got hired on as the interim head coach after Mike Brown was fired. And I would just really hate to see Doug Christie not make it onto the head coach of this team. I feel he's paid his dues. I feel like he's a good enough coach to do it. He's good with the players. He's good with X's and O's. Go ahead and give him that job. I think what's happening right now is Scott Perry is kind of just kind of delaying the decision just so that it looks like he's looking. I don't know if we're going to get any news reports of people that he's interviewing, but I think he's just kind of taking his time. He doesn't have to make a decision right this second. And I really think Scott Perry is going to make it look like at least he's going through these processes that you need to do instead of making snap decisions, is what I think Scott Perry is doing right now. I believe Scott Perry will go ahead and hire Coach Doug Christie as the head coach. I just think he's kind of weighing his options, seeing what's out there, and kind of just letting time tell who the best coach for this team will be, instead of making quick snap judgments. And also, Doug got a few votes of confidence from the Kings team and guys in the locker room that said they want Doug to be the head coach next year. So that's all going to be good for Doug. You know, the locker room and the players voting for him, wanting him. That's going to help. And I believe it's going to happen. I think Doug Christie will be announced as the Kings head coach, maybe after we've made a few moves in the offseason, maybe after these playoff series and the season is all the way over when you kind of actually see all the head coaches that are going to be available. So, and, you know, assistant coaches even from other teams. So I believe after the playoffs, after maybe even the championship game, is probably when Doug Christie will be announced as the head coach. I believe he will get the job, at least give him 2-3 years at least, in my opinion. And I did a little bit of research. I've been checking into who the unrestricted free agents are this summer, and some guys that the Kings could probably pick up as a point guard for this team. And I want you guys to kind of check these names out, research them yourselves also, and check out their averages and their numbers as you can. So shout out to Hoops Hype for organizing this information and making this list. They got it kind of ranked, their top point guards available for the summer. And number one they have is Kyrie Irving. In my opinion, Kyrie Irving, he has a player option. I believe he's going to stay in Dallas, in my opinion. I'm not sure, you know, this league is always changing, as we know. I mean, he might go to maybe another bigger team, but I think he wants to play with AD and see what those two guys can do. But he's got a player option this year. James Harden is also a free agent this summer, but he has a player option, and I have a feeling he's probably going to stay with the Clippers. They're making a good run in the playoffs right now as we speak. Fred Van Vliet has a team option. I believe the team is going to re-sign him there in Houston. Josh Giddey is ranked 4 on here. He's restricted. Now, this is one guy that I believe might be available for the Kings and might be a good pick to lead the Kings. Is he an aggressive alpha dog type leader? Not really, but, you know, he's a good point guard that can distribute the ball. And so this is my number one guy that, well, I won't say number one, but this is one of the guys that I think the Kings should definitely look at in this offseason as a guy that can lead this team, or a point guard that can lead this team. Tyus Jones averaged 11 points per game, 5.9 assists, basically 6 assists per game, 2.4 rebounds per game. And shot 46% from the field and 41% from 3. Let's see what Hoops Hype said. They said he's a very safe point guard with a career great assist to turnover numbers, which is good. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot because he doesn't make many huge risks with the ball. That also leads to lack of great flashy plays out of him. He doesn't make flashy plays. I mean, do you need to make flashy plays? I don't know. Can shoot it from the outside and from the mid-range a bit off the dribble. So that's kind of their analysis of Tyus Jones. I agree with pretty much most of that. And he's only going to be earning, he only earned $3 million this past year. So Tyus Jones, I think, will be a great option as a point guard. Also, another guy I saw in here, they have D'Angelo Russell. I don't believe D'Angelo would come to the Kings, and I don't really want D'Angelo to come to the Kings. In my opinion, I mean, he did average 13 points per game and 5 assists per game, which is pretty damn good. Russell Westbrook is also another guy I don't believe would come to Sacramento. He's a free agent. Denver may try to re-sign him, just depending how they felt about some of his turnovers that he had this offseason. So I don't really think he's a serious option for the Kings. But it'll be interesting to see where Russell Westbrook ends up this summer. Dennis Schroeder is another guy who will be a free agent point guard. He's playing in Detroit currently. And he's actually doing an okay job in Detroit. He doesn't get a ton of time, but he's doing pretty good out there for Detroit. And he's getting about $13 million per year. He averages about 14 points per game. Chris Paul, he's playing on San Antonio currently. I believe he'll probably re-sign with San Antonio, even if it's for the veteran minimum. He's still producing 9 points per game with 8 assists, which is decent. Now, this is a guy that I thought was interesting. Another guy, number 2 on my list, Spencer Dinwiddie from Dallas. He's a free agent this offseason. He averages 10 points per game, almost 4 assists per game, 2.4 rebounds, 40% field goal percentage, and 33% from three-pointer, which isn't that great of a three-point percentage shot. I would like my point guard to have a little bit better of a point percentage than that, but 10 points per game is pretty good. Let's see what Hoops Hype said. They said he's a veteran guard with great size who can hit some tough shots from the mid-range as well as make plays for others. So that's the who's who on Spencer Dinwiddie And I believe Spencer Dinwiddie would be a good option for the Kings as well. He wouldn't be expensive. He earned last year $3 million. So a lot of these point guards are in the $3 million range. They're not making a ton of money, but maybe looking for a team that they can go to where they can kind of show what they really are, show what they can do on a playoff team. Davion Mitchell is a restricted free agent. I believe since he did pretty good in the playoffs for them, I think they like what they saw. I believe he's probably going to re-sign with Miami. He's getting about $6 million per year. Trey Jones is another interesting guy. He only averaged about 4.4 points a game, 3 assists. And his older brother is Tyus Jones, and they're both very similar players. They said he's safe, steady floor general who won't make many mistakes, but won't create plays out of nothing either. So he's kind of a mid-level range point guard in their opinion. Trey Mann, I thought, was another interesting option, but he's restricted, so not too sure how that's going to go. Ben Simmons, I kind of stay away from Ben Simmons, especially as a point guard. I don't really know if the Kings would want Ben Simmons as a point guard. I think he'd be a great role player, a great guy off the bench if they can get him, but not as the point guard. They have 15th Vasilij Micic. I'm not too familiar with him. He has a team option though. And this is the other guy, one of the other guys that I have on my list that I believe can do big things for the Kings at point guard and maybe an up-and-coming guy. He does make $22 million a year, which makes him a little bit harder to sign. His agent is Rich Paul. We just had a Rich Paul guy leave here, which was De'Aaron Fox. He averages 13 points per game, which is pretty damn good. 4 assists per game, 4 rebounds, half a steal a game. He gets about 43% from field goal and 30% from three-point range, which is actually not good at all. So he's probably one of my least favorite out of the 3 or 4 that I'm going to mention. And this is what Hoop Type said. They said he doesn't look like the players who won 6th Man of the Year a couple seasons ago. He won 6th Man of the Year a while ago. But playing on such a bad Wizards team could be affecting his effort, which would be understandable. At his best, a heady lead guard who can score and do some playmaking. He's a heady lead guard. He averages 13 points, but with that 3-point percentage and the amount he makes, $22 million per year, he's probably one of my least favorite options on here. And the last guy I have on here is Cam Payne. I'm not too sure how Cam Payne is feeling about his stint in New York, if he's going to try to re-sign with New York or not. Cam Payne, he did really well with New York, so I'm thinking that chemistry may make them want to re-sign him. So I'm not sure how attainable Cam Payne is. At this point, he's kind of a big city player. He averaged 7.2 points a game, 2.5 assists per game, 41% from the field, and 38.9 percentage from three-point land, which is a decent three-point percentage. And Hoops Hype said he's a quick point guard with a tight crossover who can do some shooting from the arc. So in my opinion, I think Cam Payne could be a very good point guard for this Kings team. He only makes $3 million a year. The Kings could probably even offer him a little bit more than that to get him to come out here. And he's, semi-flashy. He's definitely a leader. He's aggressive. I think Cam Payne would be a great leader for this Sacramento Kings team if he decided to leave New York, which he possibly won't. Let me know how you guys feel about those point guard free agents that I just researched right there. Make a comment for me down below if you like any of those guys or if I'm missing anybody. Make a comment for me. I really appreciate it. And in my last video, I spoke about some draft picks that we can make, but really the draft picks that I was talking about were top of the end point guards that are probably going to go in the top 10, which is unrealistic for the Kings because the Kings don't even have a first round pick this year. They don't pick until 42nd. In the second round. They only have a second round pick and only pick 42nd unless they make a trade for some earlier picks. That's where they're picking this year. So I looked up a couple of draft picks that are going to be right around the second round, right around the beginning of that second round area. And this is what I came up with. Now, this information here I am getting from CBSSports.com. CBSSports.com was able to help me with this research here. what I came up with was these four guys here down at the bottom. Now, this is basically a point guard ranking, who they think the top point guards are in this draft. As you can see, position rank goes 1 through 10. So this is their top 10 point guard rankings. So I'm just going to focus down here at 7 through 10, which is around the 24th pick, end of the first, 28th pick, end of the first, 34th pick, beginning of the second, and 41 pick, which they have right around where the Kings pick at 42nd. And I'm going to start off with this guy right here, Walton Clayton Jr., who I believe, is, according to the CBS Sports listing, will be available right around when the Kings pick. He's a senior point guard, 6'3", from Florida. I don't know too much about these guys, so you're gonna have to do some of your own research here on some of these guys. But last year's stats, he averaged about 18 points per game, 44% from the field, 3.3, close to 4 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. To me, those are excellent stats. If a point guard could come in here and have those kind of numbers for the Kings, I think that would help the Kings out big time. I'm not sure what kind of leader he is, how aggressive he is, what type of dog he is, but he, just going by stats, he sounds like he's going to be a pretty good player. It's not letting me play these videos, or else I'd play these little preview videos they have. And they have picking around 34th this guy LeBaron Filone. He's from he's a freshman actually from Alabama, point guard, 6'4", 177 pounds. And in his regular season, he was getting about 10 points per game, 45% from field goal range, 3 rebounds, and 3.8, almost 4 assists per game. So those are decent stats for LeBaron Filone. I'm not sure how to say his name. Filone. Let's see what these guys say.
4 top 50 guys come in this year. Obviously, LeBaron exceeding all expectations. He was doing it at the first day of practice when I was there, and that has continued. Can you talk about what you've seen for him? I'm not sure if you had these expectations. I will admit I certainly didn't expect him to be this good this quick. So how has he been as effective as he has been?
Yeah, no, I didn't have these expectations either, to be honest with you. And when he got out of his commitment to Kansas after they took all the transfer guards, I mean, one of his statements to us was, look, if I'm not going to play much as a freshman, I'd much rather be at home in Alabama. So, he just kind of came in with the mindset, I'm just going to come in and work hard and get better with no expectation of any minutes. But with that mindset, and I think that's the correct mindset, I think that's the mindset of most of our guys that have made it. They just, I'm going to earn every minute I get. That way they play as hard as they can. They're not gifted any minutes. They don't have any sense of entitlement. So he came in and played his tail off the first day of practice in June. And he competed, and he was super coachable. His competitive nature was higher than what I thought. I saw a lot of games when he played at Baker, and the level of competition wasn't as high. I do think it helped that he went to Link and played a higher level of competition for his last year of high school. And then he's got to go against Mark Sears, who, may be the best guard in college basketball, and he's got to guard him and go back and forth with him all summer and fall. So I think that's made him better. And then he's got some natural instincts that you just can't coach. I don't want to sit here and act like we've coached this guy all the way into, no, like we've put him in a great system. We've given him a ton of confidence. He's earned it by playing hard, having no sense of entitlement. And then he's got some natural instincts that you just can't coach, that defensively and offensively both. And he's gotten significantly better. We put him in a system. We've given him time to play, and he's shown he's going to be really good in the NBA, I think.
So there you go. That's a great vote of confidence from them. So he sounds like he's going to be a good point guard. This actually says they believe Walter Clayton Jr. could go 9th to the Rockets. So this stuff isn't a perfect science, and guys can be picked anywhere, obviously. So Walter Clayton Jr. at 42nd, 43rd might be a dream, but just kind of going by what CBS has on their rankings. So don't be surprised if Walter Clayton actually goes earlier than 41st. And this other guy, 28th pick, they have Cam Jones from Marquette, senior, 6'5", 205, point guard. So Cam Jones is a 19 point per game player, 48% field goal from the field, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game. Let's see if we can get some sound for Cam Jones.
I like myself some Cam Jones, and that's why we're going to talk about Marquette's point guard here. 20 points, almost 7 assists, almost 5 boards, and almost 2 steals per game. And you know what else? It's only averaging 1.4 turnovers per game. Now, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the statistical profile. How about this? He's in the 95th percentile in terms of catch and shoot players. He's in the 90th percentile in terms of layup makers, and that's for everyone, not just guards. So you've got an elite shot maker and then an elite layup maker. On top of that, this is a player who was playing alongside Tyler Kolek. At the beginning of the season, Shaka Smart said, we're going to see his passing this year. And boy, have we ever. His assist to turnover numbers, and I want to give this appropriate credit. As I was researching this, it was Cracked Sidewalks who first pointed this out. Great little nugget here. The only player in the last 15 years with a 40% plus assist ratio and a less than 10% turnover rate. I mean, just absolutely incredible what he is doing with the ball in his hands this year. And Trotter, I will say this as well. Marquette is 9-1. Their only loss is at Iowa State. Iowa State's one of the hardest places to play in the country. Granted, he didn't have his best shooting night that night, but he still almost got a triple-double. He did get a triple-double against Purdue. Against Wisconsin, he had 32, 6, and 4. So this guy has done it just about every night. And the final point I want to make is I think the roster construction around Cam Jones is near perfect because with Chase Ross and Stevie Mitchell, he's got 2 really good perimeter defenders to insulate him a little bit on that end of the floor. And then up front, when they've got Ben Gold and David Joplin, he's got 2 stretch bigs who open that lane and create the space for him to go to work. Those 2 guys in tandem are averaging over 13 3-point attempts per game. That means you are having premium floor spacing, and that is an ideal scenario when you have a playmaking lead guard like Cam Jones, who I think has been as good as anyone. And I still believe, despite all the narratives in the last couple of years, college basketball is a guard's game, and Cam Jones has been the best guard in the country so far this year.
And then the last guy I have on here is a guy named Boogie Fland, which also seen Boogie Fland kind of all over the list as well, in the first round and in the second round. So this is never a perfect science, obviously. Boogie Fland is Arkansas point guard, 6'2", 175. Now, they gave Cam Jones a lot of credit in that, and he sounds like he's going to be a really good player. So if Cam Jones is available in that second round, he obviously sounds like he would be a great player, averaging almost 20 points in college. Now, they don't have any Boogie Fland video here, which I wonder why not. Maybe he wasn't that popular in college. But Boogie Fland averaged 13 points per game on 37.9 field goal shooting, about 38% field goal shooting, get 3 rebounds per game, and with about 5 assists per game, which are decent stats. Just not knowing what type of player he is, or if he's a dog or aggressive, or what type of player he really is. So that's where we got to go and do some YouTube research and go look at how he plays right there. So maybe we'll do that on the next video. I'll do some video research of some of these guys that I'm naming off here. So that was just kind of a quick list of 4 point guards that CBS feels like maybe at the end of the first round and the middle of the second round that are actually attainable by the Kings. So there's a lot of really good point guards coming out of the draft, more than I even realized. And the Kings will have an opportunity to pick a really good point guard out of this draft if they so choose to. Between free agency and the draft, the Kings should be able to pick up a good point guard. I think they should go free agent wise, pick up a more experienced guy for this playoff run they're trying to do, and maybe draft that next point guard that can back that guy up and maybe come in 2 or 3 years and be that real dominant alpha leader that we need for this team. And with that, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. I really appreciate you joining me. Hopefully you've liked the content. Hopefully you've subscribed. If you like anything I said, if I gave you any kind of information at all, please click that like button. If you're into Kings Talk, Kings News, Kings Update, please click that subscribe button. I'm your guy, and I'm going to be giving you updates all this summer, so you're going to want to be subscribed for that. And I want to say thank you for joining me on this latest edition of the King's Cup of Joe with Jay. And with that, I'm out. But before you go, check out these moves. It's good.